So this is Bluetooth speaker wiring. I'm going to show you how to fit all of this into these. So this is the first Bluetooth speaker that I made. It's I think it's pretty cool, and my students think it's pretty cool. They were all making boxes, and I just wanted to be different. They were actually making square boxes or rectangular boxes. I just wanted to make something that was a different shape. So I made a triangular one, and it sounds quite good. This is my latest attempt, and it sounds okay, but I like the sound of that this one puts out. So in your design, you might have to experiment a bit with shape and position of speakers and other things until you get the sound you like. So this one here, I've used some clear blue Perspex. I just had it available and it looks pretty cool. I've done two different speaker designs. I've done the naked one where it's just the bare speaker, and one covered in just material. It's just a bit of material off a pair of old slacks actually. I like that look myself. So the purpose of the blue Perspex was it looks cool from the outside, but when it's dark you can just see the LED glow from the inside. It's another feature. So that's cool. I'll show you how it all fits together and how I've made things. So let me just get this apart. So I've obviously had most of the screws removed. So you want to make your Bluetooth speaker so you can access everything in case you need to do repairs, like replace a battery or if a wire breaks. So you can see everything can fit inside there. I've made this bit of wood so I can unscrew it and slide it out and disconnect some wires to get everything out. So consider in your design how you're going to access everything. Okay, so I can get at my circuit board. If I disconnect the far end speaker wire, I can now move it out further. I disconnect my charge cable. And I've just got to disconnect everything off my switch. Okay, pull my LED out. Well, I don't have to. It's a tight fit, but it'll come out. So I can still access everything, and that's how everything fits together. So this bit of board's 180 by 60. If you go, I don't think you'll be able to do it too much smaller. So don't make your Bluetooth speaker too compact. You've got to remember your speakers have got to fit in. Make sure things aren't going to touch so that you short out the circuits and cause a meltdown. Okay, so now I'll show you how I've made everything. So to cut my Perspex, I've just used the jigsaw, cut out my rough shape, pre-drilled all my holes, used a countersink bit so that the heads of my screws would fit flush with the surface so they're not sticking out. So on all my circuit board's actually screwed on there. I didn't want to hot glue it on there because if I need to get it off it's going to break trying to lever it off. I've hot glued the battery into place. That comes off pretty easy, and my charge controller's also hot glued into place. So to do my speakers, I've also screwed them into place. I did a previous video on how to drill the holes for the speakers, and to do that, the speaker diameter is 50mm, so we used a 50mm Forstner bit. Cut in a recess with that first, just enough for the speaker to fit into. Then I've got the 45mm Forstner bit and continued my hole all the way through. Then we've put a 6.3mm round over bit in the router and routed this edge. And that's what I've done here, routed that edge. So to cut the hole in my Perspex, I used a hole saw. A 55mm hole saw was the right size for my radius to meet up with the edge of the Perspex, the radius on the wood from the round over bit. So I'll just show you how I stretch the material over the speaker. So I prefer the material over rather than the naked look. It's quite simple. Just cut a piece of material, place it over your hole. Before you put the screws in for your speaker, pre-drill some holes for your screws to go into. If you just screw straight into the wood, your wood might split. So it's better to pre-drill the holes slightly smaller than your screw size. So then I put the material into place, set the speaker in, stretched it. I put a screw in to hold it in where I want it, and then stretch it, and then that's what you end up with. And put your screws into place, and it holds it all into position. Okay, so for my LED, just plug everything back in. Because you've got to squeeze everything in, it can be difficult to get stuff apart. I'll do it later. I just really wanted to show you what I use for drilling the holes and to fit the parts in. So for my switch, it's 20mm diameter, the mounting part, so I used a 20mm Forstner bit. It's better than using the drill because they do a perfect hole, where drills can do a bit of a wobbly hole. Just drilled straight through, my switch fitted in, just press fits in. My USB cable, so it's 9mm wide by 13mm. I just put it on there, traced around it, got a drill, drilled through. So a drill slightly smaller than the diameter, and a chisel, and then just chisel it out until I could squeeze it in. And so this end, you got to make it so you can just squeeze that end in to the hole to come out the other side. You don't want to chisel all the way through, that when you press that in it goes all the way through as well. You want to make the hole so you can just get that in, and that'll just squeeze in without having to put any glue into place. So for my LED, it's 5mm in diameter. I just drilled a hole slightly smaller than 5mm, and then I just press the LED into the hole. So now I've just got to get it all back together, but that's how it all fits. So in your design, make sure everything fits. Don't make your box and then go, oh dear, nothing fits how I need it, need it to. So consider those things. Plan it out. Make sure you can get everything to fit how you want it to. And that the wiring is going to be able to be connected, and you're going to be able to access everything. So I made a bit of a mistake. I put my switch too far in. I wanted to make everything symmetrical, so I put my switch right in the middle. But as you saw earlier, it was hard for me to connect my terminals onto the switch. But it can be done. I've had it apart a few times now. So I hope that's been helpful. Enjoy making your Bluetooth speaker.